Idaho Falls Pediatrics, proudly supporting kids in our community in 7 Questions with Emmy.
Hey guys, welcome back to 7 Questions with Emmy. Today I'm chatting with a man who has an incredible story. Mike Wolo was crushed by 10,000 pounds of granite that landed on his head, and he lived to tell about it. Mike, thanks so much for chatting with me today.
Thank you for making time for me today.
What were you doing when the granite fell on you?
Well, I was kind of waiting for everybody to kind of get in their positions we had a crane there lifting the bundle of stone. There were granite slabs that were 7 feet tall, 11 feet long, and grouped up in bundles of 8. And my job was to sit forward of the back of a tractor trailer container and put straps on one end of the bundle, and somebody else would put straps at the other end. So I was just simply waiting for everybody to get in position so we can lift it out of the container.
And then all of a sudden it just fell on you?
Yeah, my friend who was helping for the day started screaming, and I had no idea what he was screaming about. And next thing you know, the other gentleman that was in the back of the steel container with me grabbed hold of my shoulder and, screamed for me to run. And I started running out and looked up and saw the wall of stone ready to fall on me. And the only thing I could do is try to put my shoulder into it and stop it, because it was just too late to make it out safely.
Do you remember the experience like right as it fell on you, or did you black out?
I luckily only remember looking up and see it coming, and I don't remember anything. I according to everybody there, it hit me so hard I wasn't breathing for 6 minutes, so kind of knocked me out.
That's a long time.
It's a long time, and I was really fortunate that my friends there realized the situation, and realized that, what, we have 6 minutes to get Mike breathing again so he doesn't get any permanent brain damage. And so they got back up on the container and started redoing the straps, and begged for the crane to lift the stone off my head and pulled me out and helped me breathe again.
I'm glad they could get it off of you in time.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. What was it like seeing yourself in the mirror for the first time after the accident?
I'm not gonna lie, it was the worst moment of my entire life. It was scary. What was looking back at me in the mirror was something out of a movie. You ever see the movie, the Disney movie, Hunchback of Notre Dame?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I look like Quasimodo, just a little bit
Oh,
uglier. So it was kind of a shock to see myself and look really scary, and figured my life would be over at that point, that nobody would want to be near me.
yeah. Did you see yourself like right after the accident in the hospital, or was it a little bit afterwards, like once you had like mentally trained
It
yourself?
was about 8 days later. My family, my mother, put notes up around and made sure that nobody let me see myself in the mirror. They wouldn't let me go into the restroom to look in the mirror there. They made sure that when nurses came in there, that there was no type of mirrors being handed out. So they try to protect me, but I can see people's reactions coming into the room, seeing me for the first time, and I kind of suspected that what they were looking at was not good.
Yeah. Looking back, what is the biggest lesson that you learned from being crushed?
Hmm. There's a lot of lessons learned. For one, growing up with insecurities, like any normal person out there, you have insecurities. I was always short, in my perspective, a short man, and maybe not the best looking person out there, not a Brad Pitt, but not the ugliest person, but maybe I didn't really have much self confidence. And after seeing myself for the first time in the mirror, what I would have done to get my old face back. And so I guess it took me a while, but actually it was a blessing, and I had an amazing doctor, and I embraced my new life. So I guess my biggest takeaway is accept who you are, embrace who you are, love who you are.
Do you think that you look very different than when you did before you got crushed?
I look very similar. My surgeon that reconstructed me is world renowned. He's an amazing, amazing doctor. My my face was less than 3 inches wide, so less than a half a dollar bill in length. And my whole face here is all filled with titanium screws and titanium plates. I have 110 screws and 20 plates. So for the doctor not knowing what I looked like beforehand to put me back together like Humpty Dumpty, I'm very pleased with the outcome and that I look human again. And the short answer is it's been 20 years since the accident, but I truly believe I look pretty close to what I would have looked like if I didn't have the accident.
It's amazing what doctors and surgeons can do.
It is simply amazing.
How many surgeries have you had since the accident?
I owe a lot of thanks to the surgeon. He is a dual board certified doctor, which means he's a plastic surgeon, does plastic surgery and reconstructive surgery, but he's also an ear, nose, and throat doctor. And he understands anatomy more. And he did most of the surgery in 3 surgeries. One to stabilize me, one construct me, and then a little bit of tweaks here and there, just adding a little bit more tissue here and there where I just had some swelling reduced and showing what the face was going to be like. And he's like, okay, we'll add a little bit more to it. So, but we'll say 3. Three sounds about the right number.
Do you ever have flashbacks or get anxiety thinking about what happened, and how do you deal with that?
I did have anxiety. I had something called agoraphobia where, me leaving my home or my safety zone for a long period of time was very difficult. And I would be a very, very difficult person to be around, and some depression. You were afraid to go out in public because you looked awful and you had people staring at you. And it took about 8 years to get to normal and create little ways of protecting myself, of going out and facing the world and saying, you know what, I fit in this world now. And I'm, just as good as anybody else out there.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Idaho, and what's your favorite way to have a potato?
I've never been to Idaho. I would love to go out there. Why not? I want to see the whole country. And as for potatoes, in this house, I'm known as a Potatosaurus because I eat potatoes a lot. I eat them every which way. And if you give me a bag of potatoes, potato chips, that bag is going down right now. But at the same time, if you give me a pound of French fries, I'm going to eat that, or a pound of mashed potatoes with gravy. I can't stop myself. Loaded baked potatoes, it's the most perfect food ever. It's hard to call out my favorite.
What advice do you have for people who are going through hard experiences?
Support system is so important. I was very fortunate to have my parents at the time, 4 brothers, and lots of close friends, and even distant friends. Not everybody has to be a close friend, but acquaintances. But that saying, it takes a village sometimes to help somebody. And I was very fortunate to have so much support. And I would say is seek support. And it might not be there. You have to be patient. And going through the amount of surgeries and the swelling, you have to be patient seeing the final outcome because it took a long time to get to this point.
You can read more about Mike's experience in his book, The Other Side of the Rock, and check out his website, theothersideoftherock.com. Thank you so much for chatting with me today, Mike.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope to see you soon.
Thanks so much for watching. Remember, new 7 questions and interviews are posted every Thursday. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Love you guys. Bye.
Idaho Falls Pediatrics, proudly supporting kids in our community, and 7 questions with Emmy.